shit.
Oh, no.
Do 1, 4, 4, 3, 2. Oh, do it again. 5, 4, 3. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Everyday Average Man Sports Show. I'm here with...
I'm Just Josh.
And I'm Average Joe. I messed that up, but let's go.
All right, starting off, Payton Manning this past weekend breaks the all-time touchdown passing record. How impressed with this feat are you?
I was pretty impressed. I mean, who can't be? He's the career touchdown record holder. However, I mean, keep in mind, Brett Favre, I mean, he started in Atlanta. You know, he retired, came out of retirement. And keep in mind that also, the end of his career, his second to last end of his career, his last season, that's where he set most of his records. The game has changed a little bit. I think that guys who are going to get a good head start, if you start your rookie year like the Andrew Lucks, they got a prime chance to break in the record if they can stay in the longevity of it. So it's impressive, of course, but there'll be somebody, you know, a few years from now, 5, 6, 7 years from now, that'll be barking up that same tree.
Yeah, I think I'll say I'm fairly impressed, but I think it's not one of those unbreakable records. It's something that I think will be broken again in the future. But him doing it, longevity, of course, you know, all the touchdowns, all those years, playing every game, only took out 1 year maybe.
Yep, the next fusion.
I mean, he started from the very beginning of his rookie year to now, you know, being a starter and a really good one. And I think about there were some years earlier where they had no defense, and he was scoring so many touchdowns.
Oh yeah, just to stay in the game.
Right. So I mean, definitely like circumstances have to fall all into line for it to be broken. But there's people like Andrew Luck, even Aaron Rodgers, who he's had a few years, some injuries, you know.
Yeah, and he had to sit behind Brett Favre for a little bit, so he might have to, have a few crazy years.
Aaron Rodgers, I think he'll break a lot of records just because I think he's the better quarterback, in my opinion. But
yeah, I mean, look at Dan Marino. He was passing Dan Marino because Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl his rookie year. You know, so you get that jump start. It's going to get you those career records that are going to be a lot more reachable if you can jump start off the bat. So, and I didn't even have Payton Manning on the picture over here. All right, let's go to the World Series.
All right, in the World Series, it started last night. The Royals lose. It was 7-1, and they're won 8 games in a row, but they start out 0-1. How do you see the rest of this series going?
I don't know. I mean, the probability of the team who wins Game 1 wins the series. I think for the last 5 or whatever, that's the way it's been. It's hard to come from behind. But I mean, if they can win this game, we're back knotted, and it's even chances for both squads, obviously. But I don't really know. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to stick with the Giants because they look so impressive Game 1. The Royals really got to. Their starting rotations really got to last to the 5th or 6th inning, because they're a team of relief pitchers and closers. If they can get to those with a decent odds, you know, score, everything's close, then they have a good chance. But if they're getting blown out the first 5, 6 innings, they got no chance. They don't hit enough.
Yeah, I feel like well, if you would have asked me yesterday, I would have predicted the Giants were going to win last night, but the Royals would win the series. I didn't think it'd be a blowout like that, but Bumgarner, I think he'll win both his games. So I could see a 7-game series, and the Royals.
See, I think
I want to go for them.
I think it's going to be a 5-game series. They could even possibly get swept.
Oh no!
I think 5, 6 games at the most. It ain't going 7, and the Giants.
I think the telling will be is if tonight's a close game and the Royals lose. Then I can see a sweep or a 5-game. But if it's a close game, they win. Then I can see there'll be 3 or 4 of those games that they could take. Yeah. So, I mean, I want to go for the Royals.
No, I do. I want to cheer for the Royals. Yeah. I mean, by no means do I want the Giants to win. I mean, the Royals haven't been there since '85. I don't even know the last time they made the postseason. You got to root for the underdog. You know, you really got to.
The whole world except for San Francisco is.
Oh yeah, I looked at the ESPN poll. It legitimately was like 85% of the world of whoever filled the poll out on ESPN. I guess the United States wanted Kansas City to win.
And then another big news last week: Percy Harvin traded.
Oh mercy!
to the Jets. There were rumors of fights with teammates and refusing to go into games when called in. How do you see his career going? How can he recover from all this? How is he going to help the Jets? A lot of questions in there.
I don't think it's like as big of a deal. The altercations, competitiveness will bring that out. There's a lot of stuff that goes under the radar that are physical altercations in practices. Now, this dates back from Florida days. I mean, Urban Meyer hiring a bunch of gangsters or recruiting a bunch of gangsters with the Ponce twins and the Ponce brothers and Aaron Hernandez, the murderer, and Percy Harvin. The only good guy they had on the team was Tim Tebow, and somehow he must have prayed every day to keep the team and squad together. But Percy Harvin, the biggest deal is not going back into the game, and that's got to be true. Why would that surface and not be true? It just seems obvious that he has an attitude problem, which I didn't know until all this came about, to be honest with you. He's kind of flown under the radar as a bad attitude guy, but now this all is exposed, and I believe it to be the truth because Doug Baldwin backs it up. No one has anything else to say. You know, I mean, they're all in the squad. They're going to back their quarterback because that's the guy that's there and he's remaining. But there's got to be a reason why they didn't utilize Percy Harvin as much as they did. There's just got to be, and it obviously wasn't the injury factor.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like Doug Baldwin's their best receiver now. Like Percy Harvin's not better than him.
And it could have been a reason why Golden Tate was out too, why he went to the Lions, because maybe they thought getting rid of him would cure this Percy Harvin deal. And when another one rose about, it's like, look, Percy Harvin is the root of the problem. We got to get rid of him. And I respect the coach doing that for virtually nothing. They should have asked him for pancakes instead of a 6th-round
That's
draft.
what I've always said. Trade somebody for literally a bag of poop and just completely just put down their talent and say, this is how much you're worth.
There was a player in the olden days that literally got traded for bats in the MLB, that literally got traded for like a case of bats. I don't know who it was or anything, but imagine being that guy. Let's move on.
All right, and then the NBA lottery was they're put to vote to reform and make it more equal, like the top 4 teams.
Top 4 would be 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, I think, and 9% or whatever, the top 5. But now it's 24% and 10% or whatever. But ultimately, the odds still work its way out. Whoever finished dead last, whoever tanked, didn't get the first pick. Now, they're in a fear of the 76ers trying to continue this. They want to fail on purpose, you know. So that's why they're revisiting this, because, you know, Adam Silver doesn't like the idea of the 76ers trying to tank purposely. But it's proven that what they have in formation now works. So
yeah, I think obviously you lose all your games or whatever, and your last place, you get a 50-50 chance of getting the first pick. And, you know, about half the time you end up with the first pick. But I hate teams tanking. I really hate that. I remember distinctly that when the first time I remember this is the Spurs tanking to get Tim Duncan, and look at how they're past 15 years it turned out. But tanking is just
it ruins the integrity of the game. It ruins the integrity of the game.
Like, what about the teams that are in the playoff race? Like, they play a team that's tanking. Like, how fair is that?
No, it's not. It's not. And by the back half of the season, after the All-Star break, these guys are purposely getting rid of guys and trying to, and what do you do as a coach? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, you got a lame duck coach, then you don't look impressive at all. No one's going to ever say, oh, this guy did a great job.
No, because they're going to question your integrity as a coach that you allowed this tanking process. Obviously, you had to be a part of it.
I'm sure somebody, even an owner, is telling them, hey, don't win this game.
Don't win the game. I do remember one year, though, when the Magic, all they had to do was lose the last game of the season, and they would have had the odds to win to be the first-round pick. And they won. And I remember being pissed about it. I remember being like, why would you win that game? But it's about the integrity of basketball, and you're there to win, and you're trying to put a program together. Never do you intend to lose. So
yeah, I think they got to do something completely different to make it better than the lottery system currently in place. I don't think just changing the odds will do anything.
And we told you we're everyday average men.
It's all right. And then this is a topic you brought up.
Yep. All right. We got a UNC sham classes for the last 18 years. A lady by the name of Debbie Crowder, it's not even a professor, has been taking Afro-American culture class. And typically she gives grades A's to B. And 49% of the people enrolled in this class were all athletes. So the question is this just an easy class to boost GPA? And it obviously seems that way.
Yeah.
It obviously seems that way.
Well, my opinion on that is I think every university has a class like this. This is coming out. It's a little extreme to...
If it's not the class, it's some type of organized deal to get the players who don't have smarts a decent GPA to be eligible. I mean, no matter where you go, no matter what, players are getting paid under the table, whether it be memorabilia or there's some type of way, that they're doing this. All technicalities, they do it off of technicalities and stuff like that. But the thing is it's happening everywhere, and yeah, it's happening at UNC, and it's a big predominant basketball school, but it's going to even happen at North Dakota State and other schools. If you think so, then if you don't think so, then you didn't play sports and you didn't recognize what's going on around you in your surroundings.
The thing I don't like about NCAA is they're so slow to change anything. The BCS everyone complained about it for so long, and it took them like 10 years to get rid of it.
And now you got 4 of the 5 teams all in the same conference, which rightfully they probably are the better teams, but they got to do something about that as far as what was the sense of having a playoff system if you're still going to have an SEC team versus whoever the other guy's going to be, ultimately.
And it could be 2 SEC teams.
And it could be 2 SEC teams now. Yeah, exactly. So,
but I mean, there's so many other issues, paying players. There's so many things they need to address that they just seem to ignore. I don't know what.
Well, it's the same thing the NFL did with the concussions and the steroids and everything that's and now domestic violence. They just want to act quick and try to make up for the last 15 years of negligence. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, this has been an issue for so long. You trying to jump on it does not make up for the lack of due diligence in the last 15 years.
Yeah, and
that's the way it is.
Some bad, financially, they're going to suffer in the long run, I think. But that's our show. Next week, NBA preview and
NBA. I wore this shirt purposely.
Subscribe,
right? I wore it to work and everything.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs
See you
up.
later.
3 likes.